Since Gwen's first introduction into Camp, she's been an uninterested and mostly self-centered character, as the rest of the cast with exception to David. That side of her is the most apparent throughout the series, and the side the audience comes to rely on. Most of her comedic values come from her poor taste and desire to please herself over others. However, Gwen has also proved to have selfless values as well. When Monquisha broke up with David, she was there to take care of him. When Nikki got her first period, she took care of her. When the camp was shut down, Gwen sacrificed a cushy job to help those she clearly loves. This brings up another point about Gwen as well. She's too smart to be doing nothing. Gwen is a highly intelligent character that has been, for lack of a better word, unappreciated. She's too skilled to get a job anywhere except the camp, and the camp doesn't challenge her in the way she wants to be. The campers and figuring out their motives is all she has when it comes to using her brain for more than just balancing the camp's budget. Which brings up the next point. Gwen wants to feel special. As an unappreciated, highly intelligent, and overskilled woman, Gwen struggles to feel different from others. She doesn't get recognized for her hard work. People never get her name right, and the only people who seem to care are David or reruns of Doctor Who. Even David gets on her nerves, though. He pushes her too far when it comes to the camp, which leads Gwen to be frustrated when she wants to be alone or just have some privacy. As Gwen mentions in Something Fishy, the only time she has to masturbate is on her day off, when she can be sure that David is out of their cabin taking care of the campers. It's implied that both Gwen and David live in the same cabin, but we don't know what the layout looks like. For all we know, David and Gwen's beds are parallel to one another, which would mean Gwen gets cheery David, waking her up in the morning, telling her goodnight, and interrupting her during the day. All that time with David would drive any sane person mad, which is why Gwen has such an enormous desire for privacy. She wants to get away from the camp and write herself insert fanfiction where she won't be interrupted. The desire is how Gwen came into the controversial episode that was Something Fishy. After meeting the fishman in the lake, Gwen falls in love with tall, dark, and monstrous. Let's be real, Gwen is a monster fucker. She has a calendar for werewolf men, and all her self-insert characters are going to pound town with monsters. For the first time, Gwen is able to fulfill her fantasy of having a secret monster boyfriend. She feels special, finally, and acts in positive ways. She gives the campers new test tubes and things because she's finally had enough time to be happy for that to be reflected in her personality and actions. However, when the fish man turned into a human man, he lost what two important factors that allowed Gwen to keep living in her fantasy. That was, one, he was her secret, and two, he wasn't human. He was something special, which made her special. When he became a man, he wasn't the silent but attentive fish man she had fallen for. He was someone else now. Worse still, Gwen had shared her fanfiction with him. A fish man couldn't tell the world about the embarrassing secrets she keeps in her notebook, but a real man can. Whether Gwen broke up with him in the lake because of her desire to feel special, or her general fear of the sight of a fish becoming a man, or even the fear that he may tell others about what she keeps in her notebook, that's all up for debate. Gwen is a complicated character. Does that excuse Gwen for breaking his heart, though? It's hard to say. Gwen really liked him. She did. However, when a fish becomes a man, there are too many variables to consider that he now is more than just a fish with complex social behaviors. Gwen could have feared that he would reject her when he saw women who were better looking than her, or with better bodies. As Gwen has implied before, she is dissatisfied with her body. Gwen could have also feared that he would no longer make her feel special as a human man, especially a human man who can talk. We know that Gwen has been burned in the past, especially in Gwen Gets a Job, where we see a compilation of her getting burned by potential employers. Gwen feared the unknown when the fish became a man. When he became a man, he wasn't the silent but attentive. All that time with Gwavid. Has Gwen We know that Gwen has been burned in the past, especially in Gwen Gets a Job. There's pretty much a compliment. There's pretty